Hello, Barry.
다시 텔레게라 페트라. Hello.
Hello. Okay, so what's it?
Good to know.
Okay. So maybe you want to buy young Geshe?
Yeah, Geshe, that's
The book.
the context of this
Yeah.
reaching out to another. The same year, Karina, and
Yeah. Okay.
Chitan.
So just then it's summer.
Okay, so first of all, Tashdele to everyone.
Yeah, the thing also. Also, the certain zomni. And also, the car younger is sure. Karangas, courage in zomri. Karangas in the liachi. Yam the truth cherries. The court stood shanes.
So why do we gather together? Why do we have these classes? So I'm gonna talk briefly about this.
Yeah. I know Kedani was switch that Nambi Tatum Kani Senator, Nambi Touch Simco Repasinanda, Nambi Chula, Karagani Kashina, was a colonze at Pikichum Zioris. Chick Charangaleka Yak, any dukes at the Manchete, Charan Colonel and Chakris.
In general, whether we talk about Buddhist philosophy or Buddhist psychology or Buddhist religion, three categories, in all of them, motivation becomes a very crucial aspect, becomes something very important. Usually, how we differentiate whether a good work is a good work or a bad work is largely depends on our motivation.
Semba Zama, Colonamda, Colonamda, she can make a check on Rana and Samsung, Necate Lam-Rim Madrea, Tataji, the Mandra, young cigarettes, Yena, they check so Colonguchani, Jumena, Colon Zama Yena, they aren't Nambi Tatum Kanikashina, they Digashuji, the judge was the Chilmaris.
The judging was in
Chilmare, yeah.
For example, if we really have a pure motivation, if you have a really pure motivation, sometimes we go to do an action with this motivation, and it might happen that sometimes the action is not successful. It's not good in a way. But according to the way Buddhist philosophy explains, this action, if you had a pure motivation, even though the result maybe it wasn't successful, your work, still it's not considered to be a bad work because you had a pure motivation.
The Colon Sama says to Colon Sama Lade, so simple dingni, and he make a chain to a concealer, Chawai Karina, Julia, and Toba, your concealer, they on chip, and it is so which do you need such you? Shambaji so with a chicken is to Tom Doyan with the Maima. So simple Namda Gani. Chick the Zamala, don't chick chip, Niba deam, the Karavichet in Sechura, the Bekichumur. Chick so Colon de Zama Yona, so Chibuichet in Rowena. Simba Ding is so like a chair, the Toba Yona. Lendo, any condition or Sosolia, Sosolia, Kemsangilia, so Kemsangi check Sabla down, so the Cindy Kepsang. In the Gina, the Tes Colon, Zamara, Sigmar. The money Simba Dingni, Yam, Pento Shambaji check, Mamboja Pentoya, Tindi Kromakituna.
And what do we say when we talk about a pure motivation? So first, there's the aspect of it's a motivation, doing some action, not just expecting something in return. So expecting a gain for yourself. And also it's a vast motivation in the sense of you're not only thinking about yourself, but also thinking about others. Yeah.
Yeah. That only Matsu Sama, but you know, so young sorry. In the Colons at the kitchen way, but they Colon Sama Kiga, Matsu Sama Hakoya, a Hakoswata. Kelly Chegre. The one is Simba Dingly, Tinga sulin do the mandu said. Simple thing is also the sunset the your maris at the theory.
Probably many of us, most of us here in this room, we have already learned many times about the importance of motivation. Yeah, we need to have a pure, a clean motivation, a good motivation. We have learned this, we accept this, we accept, yes, of course, we need to have a good motivation. But when we analyze ourselves, our motivations, and if we look at the deep of our heart, you know, do we have a pure motivation from the deep of our hearts?
Yeah. The simple thing ni money cannot sama to go mare siati. So simple thing ni to the me to tango me to say sure. The thing also be capoeires. La the go re la groa. Money simple thing ni tango to es, you know. Cannot sama go at it. Simple thing which love my so wrong on. Tango to es and
yes, and we can also ask ourselves if it's important to have a pure motivation, a good motivation from the deep of our hearts. And it's easy to say that it's important. But also, if we analyze whether we have this pure motivation or whether we recognize the importance of a good motivation from the deep of our hearts, it's hard to say. It's hard to say that we accept this from deep inside.
Yeah, that thing it love go correct. That the range of the Sunday yam the zone, some yam the switch down. The anchi so chibu chit mayba. So within the younger down him, Chimamba, Chikonto Christian. Pinto to be within the some low, so church chunju to yourself. Church chunju is kind of seat dowish. Now as same as some no that we use. Take along the kick was a deal.
And why do I say this? Because the purpose of us meeting here to have this class, the purpose here, we need to think when we come to class that I'm not doing this only for myself, but through this practice, through these actions, in the future, I might be able to benefit others. Now it's only a small seed compared to such a huge project like this. But we have to carry this motivation during the class.
Yeah. That the that you can some as in the canon the yopi company. That the ring also chit on the love send it. As long as the London back on it, London by no nita. The ching about no was later. Now Shiba's name. Yeah.
And on top of having this this clean motivation, the topic that we have been covering is the 7 limbs prayer, and we have just arrived at the 5th limb.
I know that the London bus is the Karavich was a jungle. Yellow by the condition.
And why do we learn about the 7 limbs prayer? Why is it important, the 7 limbs prayer?
You don't take call a Casamole in the shade to
yesterday we explained a little bit about this, but we'll go over it again.
Yeah. Courage on there. And also, the number someone Pache Manche Koyore, a kitchen shirt and Masuchi, Tapkichani, any chance you with him.
Maybe most of you have already heard many times that from the side of method, between method and wisdom, on the side of method, the most important is bodhicitta, right?
That the Tapkichani in it, the chance you some kitchen with the chick.
On the side of method, bodhicitta is the most important. On the side of wisdom, method and wisdom, this division, the side of wisdom, emptiness is the most important. Probably many of you have heard many times this.
Yeah, that they need the Chitang bear, Hajing the Carter. Chick Georgias or a tombori, Monichana, the Lilawing a Surgica, the Tambo. But
these two, they're very high topics, extremely high topics. It's very hard for us beginners to fit in our minds the size of these topics.
Yeah, that indeed some long so with indeed log yonchi, India gum jamni, so Rambaya and Royalia, and Shamba Mambo Teni Trokoyash.
So that's why it said that in order for us to reach this very high points, we need to rely on other things to gradually, by studying and practicing, reach these high levels. And that's why there is the talk of the accumulation of merits on the side of method and the accumulation of wisdom on the side of wisdom. And on the side of the accumulation of merits, which is the side of method, there are many methods to achieve this accumulation. And in the same way, the side of wisdom, the supreme wisdom is said to be the wisdom cognizing emptiness. But in order to reach this wisdom, there are also many steps, there are many stages of developing this wisdom. And then walking on these two paths, right? From one side, the method, from the other side, the wisdom. At the end of this path, we get to bodhicitta on the side of method, and we get to the wisdom realizing emptiness on the side of wisdom. But before this, there are methods for us to walk this path in order to develop this mind. And that's where this prayer, this practice of the 7 limbs prayer come into action, which helps in the accumulation, both in the accumulation of merits on the side of method, and also in accumulation of wisdom. And here in this text that we're studying, which is called the Lam-Rim, the stages of the path to enlightenment, here it's in the perspective of sutra, between sutra and tantra. In sutra, we train this accumulation of merits and the accumulation of wisdoms with 2 different minds, which basically means that we train them separately, the accumulation of merits and the accumulation of wisdom. In tantra, it's only one mind together in union, trains both in the side of method and in the side of wisdom.
Yeah, tadi kidam te chikchiro. Tadi ringa so karsena tanda yanla dembasya. Yanla demba te kidam kande rezon de yanla demba de tsangma de ma so ne so we so nam gu so la ta kasang ne ka chi chong sa ra. So sin de chi ta kanmo ya po sim tsangma shi kang le ya. Chi ka se to to mo zui te ya ji tang to ku re ya ji tang. Kanmo tsangma sim tsangma te Combe Karistante, yeah. Jerimbo Nyartoya, Jerimbo Nyat Samayimbati, Yajin to
And through the 7 limbs prayer, we say that it's necessary for us to have a pure motivation. So the 7 limbs prayer, it's going to first help us to generate a pure motivation, to get a pure motivation, and also to maintain it for a longer time and to develop, to improve this pure motivation, this thinking, this way of thinking in a positive way.
Mamboji secret, Penatawachi Chansi the Androda, Koraja the Androda, Yanchi Chobando Peter, Tanama Chichana, numbers of Mamboji Society Kolium, Lojong US secret, and Gaji, Tampa to energy condition. It's current Rayana Samson, that Yamanda, some Cosido. The only that indeed Carpento or is yet, Tandandi, another Magoni, what the
Thank you. And this is something that probably many of you have seen already. You know, people prostrating, people making koras, people making offerings. You know, and sometimes it might occur. You might have a doubt of what is the connection of this to the teachings. What is this for? What is the purpose of these practices? So through the 7 limbs prayer, we can understand the purpose of all these practices.
Yeah. That is okay. Kernon Sama in his Sauna Tancho Yawadi, Chikia, Competania, Lachano, Talam. Tindi is also Chikia, Chobandapia, Tijini, so service Kernon Sama, Des Yajitantoya. And then young Chansia, Quarandria. So, Casamasochi Lachano, Tamlam.
So all of these methods of prostrating, kora, etc., circumambulation, they're all tools for us that help us to turn our motivation to a more pure side, that help us to develop our motivation or to bring our way of thinking to a positive direction.
So the Tindi Lekati, Tindi so chick that Jawatil Juna, the Juni so similar. Chick, yes, Simba Yawachone, Numbito.
In brief, all of these tools, they are like giving nutrition to our positive side of the mind. Our positive mind is like giving food to this mind.
Oh, that indeed is also Yajido.
What is this 7? What are the 7 limbs in the 7 limbs?
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't also teach you not Tambote, Tai Telonia, and then the Lagunja Chang Tambone, Changsawa, Chobapia, Changsa Church, any Shaba, Jisiram, the Nene, Tishanta, Kurva, and it's what and was it did. Yeah.
So the 7 limbs prayer are prostration, the first one. Second, offering. The third one is confession or purification. The fourth one is rejoicing. The fifth one is requesting for teachings. The sixth one is like requesting requesting the teacher to stay for a long time, to teach for a long time. And the last one is dedication. These are the 7 limbs.
Yeah. What then you because Jenny, that's also the conversation. So some locally, some Yawish on a canyon to Kazishi Raga, you know, she saw, so sells it. She saw long the Pokemon cells and you name it to Yash. Was it you? Yeah, she got bomba. She comes, she a build, she has course. The current build show, so some yard. Yes, yeah, no bit.
So through these 7 limbs, so there's this 7 different angles that 7 different tools also that we're using to feed the positive side of our mind. So this word in Tibetan, he said now this sak is what they say for accumulate. This means basically adding. So it's like we're building something. We're building like a house, like step by step with these many different tools for our positive potential in our mind to get stronger and stronger. Our inner strength, positive inner strength to get stronger and stronger.
Yeah. So the need of Tambo now so Chansawa, Chansay Gavlia, so Kulon Sama, Takazuma, Chitara, Tijini, Chichet, Tado than Tring also, Tandate, Shibat Valede Mare.
Yeah, so for example about prostration, we had a class before about the having a pure motivation, how to do the prostration. I think maybe it's not necessary to go over it again today.
Yeah, that Tsering also call layers. Tsering also call layers. Tanda Jipadre, Ngaba. Okay. Ngaba Tanda Kuluasia. Thank you, Gomashia. Kulua Tapasia. Tachik Tandur Dana Kula Tapasium. Tana Lam-Rim Shishachana. Tachik Tandibe. Sanjida. Chanju Sepa. Pemambu Shushi. Chun Sanju. Tanda Chiki. Tanda Susi Jarji. Tizolia Tachik Muntini. Dindi Tachik Chungorsiash. Chichinkolo. Chichinkolo Tonda Karisum. Indi Zambo Lapchas in the Zambo Chima. Anichi Tia. This would Narochi Simantini. Dindi. Dindi, so Kulmachi.
So now we got to the fifth one, the fifth limb, which is about requesting for teachings. And this limb is we request here the Buddhas, or the Buddhas of the past, or the Bodhisattvas, or the great masters, teachers. We request them that all their good advices, everything that they say that is beneficial for us, the beneficial words or texts, we ask them to keep giving them to us. Keep teaching us, please.
Yeah. That don't that Deva Karayori say that Tivale Sigrata. This also some Yaki Tayla current.
And what is the connection this with what we said before of this helping us to develop our positive potential, or positive inner strength, etc.? What is the connection? To give an example?
And so only Sembatini, Jandu, Lopsinch, Bachas, Lopsinch, or Chasha. That's also Jandu, that's also teaching a posi. I mean, the Shambashi against Amachik Shambashi in Siki, Timachi, Tiro Chiri, so yeah. Namjing was watching Lopsin Karina, the Chiriwa. One tender was she. Tanda was so witchy. Tanda Soso Gomda, the Karina, into Soso Samlo, Yawi Chona, Chop Chick. Mambushing at Shambal Martin and around Rangi, Matsurangi, Tanda Shira, Litombo, Chetumedo, Mambushambasi, think. The Shambasi Tena, Soso Italia, come on, some maybe. The Samba Dingin Jando Yokor, Jando Yokanshila. So cheap some mataki. Mambo should paint by a chetty, and that so good.
For example, if there is any topic, any lesson that we want to learn, we really have a deep desire to learn about this topic, we cannot just learn by ourselves, right? We need to go to a teacher, to someone that knows a lot about the topic, and we need to request the teachings so that we can finally learn. And in a similar way, if we have the desire to develop our minds, to bring our minds, our emotions to a more positive side, this is not something that we can just do by ourselves, not relying on anyone else. We depend on others. We need other people in order to achieve this, to train our minds in a positive way. So because of this, we train also first to have this deep longing, this deep desire to learn something new, to develop our minds. And we also request with this pure motivation because we have to depend on others, we request them to teach us, to help us.
Yeah, that is going to catch it. That means Shambale Kulma Tavandana, Kulma Tava, Dean. Touch it. Taki on the chooses a Kulma Sama Yochi. Kulon Deon Chi, so Chibuchin, my Jamba, which it in Zena. The Chanian, so Simba, tick up this, Kulmon tick up there. So Sama Yachi Legiorta. The morning Chibuchit, my ace. A pen, Lopsendishina. Tangindi, Lopsenchi, that Kari Lopsen Kandishina. Touching Achibo Maimba, in the Dutch of Momoji Pentosare, Pen Ansindishina, Gonyochiona. Tangindi Chitan Kosul Pentosare, so some shit. Ti Kanmondi Yaposhi quale. Chico Maimba, Momboshi, some society couple lever. Ti so chigri. Tadendo, Penson, Pena, Zenta Chicana, Ansipe, Jutuan letter, Ansingonio, Savojana, Taco Mena, or Tangi, Shamba Chicken Gage Yaposhi. 순진자를 뒤로 시로 시나나 그 그놈데 뭐보실 펜도야 시로 다 된다고 지추 다시 섬려야지 다 지금 많이 봐 샴바기 채팅 선바 인디 그놈이 기토나 디캅텔이야.
And also at this moment of making requests, we don't think only for our benefit because I need to learn something, but we also think we are requesting the teachings not only for ourselves, but for everyone that needs to hear these good advices. So because we have this thought, also at this moment, it's easier for us to have this pure motivation. It's easier for us to have like a positive thought because we're thinking of how this is going to benefit many other people that need to have a more positive mind. Just like, for example, a math teacher, let's say there's a very confusing topic in your class and you're going to have a very hard exam and you request from a math teacher to explain this, but you don't think only for yourself. You think of how all your classmates are going to, it's like all your classmates together are requesting this teaching so that everyone can have some benefit.
다 있는 양 배는 다시 변전을 공사적 송주 공사적으로 송주 나로 치스 아연 지들이야 진다 된게 이제 마보여 때 미치고츠 다 지고 참아 그런 야보이면 이제 되면서 하고 말이 다 직전에 가시 다 직기 뭐니 그런 참아 참지 당연히 진다 된 공사적 송주나 이 송주도 마보 쇼질 펜도야 진리 그런 뒤지는 소소에 손을 써야 진짜 그런 거는 장마 배 다양 가시게 되면 총으로 나봐 다들 직전에 대형 소소 괜찮아 주문도 안진다래 된도다 야 뒤지네요 다 수용 거다 망보시어 다 소소요 근데 저는 다 쓰는 사세에 대한
For example, about the motivation, when His Holiness the Dalai Lama teaches here, so these teachings, they're always requested, that they have to be requested, and they also have sponsors because it's expensive also to do these teachings. So these sponsors, they request the teachings and they make it possible. And of course, we cannot say that all of the sponsors, all of these rich people that sponsor these teachings, they have a good motivation. Some of them, they're the way they think when they sponsor, when they give money for these teachings, how do they think? If His Holiness Dalai Lama can teach this topic, so many people are going to come to this teaching, so many people are going to be benefited, they're going to have a happier life, etc. And so because of this, he requests the teachings. That's accumulation of merit, it's going to happen. Others, they might think for example, oh, sponsoring this, they're going to put my name there, I am the sponsor, and maybe this is even going to be good for my business because people are going to know, that I have good connections, and then so people can have many different thoughts to do an action, and if they do with this motivation, we cannot say 100%, that they are accumulating a lot of merits, if they have this motivation.
Yeah, that did already. 단단 뒤 중국 거세요. 소소 소는 속사당데 그런 데 기세는 신기. 그런 싸마시고 요래.
Yeah, so for the accumulation of merits, yeah, it's important to have a pure motivation.
다대한 것을 배나야 지 중국 거 지제정대한 중부시고 같이 많이 봐. 배나지 소소 그 gen시나 되는 데니 거지 티로치. 셈바 띵니. 때 미망보시고 듣고 같이 아마 소소 치마되면 그 gen시니야 다지 소소 지가르 거리나 소소 진념len체 딘디 거리야. 이 그런 상만 소소 딘딩이 지장니. 단다다 년경아 치프레스. 나게디 장니 마음바는 인디 치미 참바지 몸보지 펜토사이스. 딘디 그런로요나 tamani 중국 거 그만 많이 디차그레스.
And also not only towards famous lamas, but also going to your teacher, a teacher that's available. If there is a topic that you want to learn, that you want to practice, that you think it's beneficial, so you request this teaching, even if it's only a teaching that's going to be given to yourself. Right now, you're the only person listening to the teaching, learning about this. But if you have the motivation that, you know, because of this, because of this, listening to this teaching, in the future, I might become someone that can benefit, that can help people. I will become a better person towards other people. So other people will also be benefited through this. So this request also becomes an example of this fifth limb of requesting for teaching.
Yeah, but the need of the Tamlam Chikarazena, Yanchi Soso, which Ambala Kulmata, Tirochis, Takikamshi, Chikche. Niba the also so with Namji, which you or Obasoli, until you Kulmachi among Buyukri.
Ah, that's a
Tinta would Chennai, Tandata Chonda, which are and Chudota, and that's also Robakari in the Soli. Dindi Jana, Dindi Logion Chena, Dindi Chena, Pentodus, Edri Chains, and the Dindi Zindazin and Dindilia, Korea, and the Kurmata Rochilamna, Pentodus, Korea boy, and it to do the end of Soso Robale Kurmachi. Korong did it over the penna. The Naran Dindichi Giants, concerning a quality in the Labni concerning young penton chansons. Churon against Saina Data Karina, Tinido was a cheap Sanduchi Saina. And the Churan quality in the Dinichina concerning young pentoy. Send on Koyan, Kundo, Nichina, Kulma, Unicuma Chu. Churon Captive Kolaya so at a chick check. Mishamba Junior, Mishamba like so at up Juya.
Mishamba Kurankiran Chujo, Irangumache, Nikan Komache.
Pena, Narangi Tumble, Yamyam, on a Yamyam Carriere, up a Kugenji Sando, looked which on a pay pendoyer. And I made Joran the Carlagre, what it Sando in the Jana Korea, and it Joran River Jap. Have to change to go depend on the nature of the Chiron Quasandro, Kulmache, or teacher, made Juni Kulmache in your church.
Kiran, Kumache, Chagre.
Juni
Kiran Gigan Thompson.
Make again a mere Quataro, indirectly. That's Marina, indirectly, Kulmache at the Rocha. Actual Kulmache,
Kulmache. Okay, I think I understand. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. So another way that that it can also become this fifth limb of requesting for teachings, not only going directly and requesting the teacher, but also, for example, when a friend comes to you with a doubt or wanting to know more about something, with any confusion, any questions, and then you might recommend a teacher. You know, you might say, oh, I had classes I learned with this teacher, and it was very beneficial for me. I think maybe he or she could help you. And then this person goes and requests this teacher for teachings, etc. And you indirectly you have performed an action of requesting for teaching. Sending your friend. You sending your friend, you have accumulated this merit.
Okay, I'm very quiet, my friend.
Yeah. Yes, I understood.
Okay. Yeah.
It's something indirect, like asking our teachers questions, like we sometimes do with Geshe Gelsen. Is that also a form of requesting for teaching?
Yeah, in the order, Chibari, Tapena Nathan Chicon, Yaku, the carresi Tiatina, that the Sorochi say, or
yes. If you say, I didn't understand the meaning of this, please explain. You're basically saying, please give me teachings. It's the same thing, yes.
And that Chibari, native on the Nathan the Cometus, in a money, Tanda was a Kulma Chamas, the Gonsha. So the Kalon, the Pikishimure, the men, they take the men, Matsu Karakumachina, the Gonsha place on. Consensual Brazilian Colmache, consensual Mason Nangaya, so Kalmazama Mena?
Yes, like the external action is basically the same. You're asking for teachings. But the main thing that's gonna say if it becomes this fifth limb of requesting for teachings, a method to accumulate merits, is your motivation. So it's going to depend on your motivation. Even if you go to His Holiness the Dalai Lama and you request for something and he says a very beautiful teaching. If your motivation was not pure like this, then it doesn't become, you don't accumulate that much merit.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you request for something, but the teacher doesn't have time, like the Dalai Lama, for example, is super busy. So if we would request him to teach something, there's so many people requesting
Of
something.
course.
Should we still do the request, or should we just leave it be?
Som jag till Jona, men så mutune kuma chikugido Jona.
Yeah, that is
That's a very good question, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, should I ask again for the 8 world council?
Karasena tanda Sanjay Jadoni Makura Machawas Yashur. Masolo Machawas, Tanduanoina. Jidani Deon Chick Te Insik Yas and Swatap Senata Kulmache. Request Machena, Tazma, Chishin, Mandrixer. The Karchin and Mandrixis. Kutivale Segra, Karchin. The Karchin Rentandi, Sorko, Rentan Yarko, Kutsawachimbuti, Sachimbu Imbate, Kalawata.
So usually in Buddhism, it's said that if you're not requested, don't teach. So it's very important to have this request. And why, we may ask, why is it important to have this request and almost not being allowed to teach if there's no request? Because the value must be given to the teaching. Right?
Yeah, teaching. Nini Tanda Mo any Tradir. Penane Tanda Tanda Kulmache, till Lavade, Tema Mambo Tinich, Soy. Dior. Tinamambo, Tindior, that dear Carpento, Carichenis.
And it's also said that it should be requested many times also for teachings. And what is the meaning of this? What is the benefit of this?
Yeah, Tanda Ani, Tikon, the logic decision.
And I'm going to tell a little story about this.
And the Jumela 2019.
When I was in Yume Monastery, the Tantric Monastery in 2019. What did our teacher tell us? So this teacher in this Tantric monastery, he went in the past many years ago, many years ago to my teacher in South India, Geshe very famous teacher in Drupal Losling, and he requested for a very precious teaching. He went to Geshe and requested for this teaching to him. And he made this request. He made this request many times to Geshe Bodhidharma, but still Geshe Bodhidharma didn't accept the request. Why? Why not? What he said was that this is a too precious teaching. I'm not able to teach this. If I try to teach this, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be correct. This is what he said. This is a tantric text. There is a question whether Geshe Bodhidharma actually cannot teach about this subject. In the past, I'm not sure, I don't remember so well, but I think in the past he has taught this subject 5 or 6 times, I think so. And after some time, after he kept requesting, so Geshe Dragpa made the plans to teach this subject. And what this teacher from the Tantric monastery told me, he said that when Geshe Dragpa finally accepted to teach about this subject, he had such a special feeling inside. He felt like, wow, finally, finally he said yes. So he felt like it was so precious to finally get this teaching about this subject. And he said that if he had accepted the first time he asked, it wouldn't be the same thing, but since he asked for so many times, then it came this very special feeling to him. And it's the same thing in our life. For example, if there's something that we really want to have, if we immediately get it, it's like, if we get it after a lot of effort, after a lot of time, it's a different feeling when we finally have this. So that's why in the text in the Buddhist treatises, it says that it should be requested many times.
Might be negatively affect students also, because students will get demotivated, demoralized that, oh, I'm not getting any teaching, it's better. So they might get derailed from the path.
Yeah, that's possible, yes. Yeah, it might happen that they think, yeah, maybe he doesn't want to teach about this. But this is usually not like this way of this, usually not used with like beginners, who are learning about the Dharma. And this is usually the more the practitioner goes, becomes more advanced, and also the relationship between the teacher and the student becomes closer. So if the relationship is already strong enough, then there isn't the danger of this, of him giving up or becoming demotivated. It's more stable.
Yeah. Maybe.
So when we do the 7-limb prayer, like we are taught to do this on a daily basis.
So you meditate.
Yeah.
Should we then think about the special teaching we request every time? Or should we just do the general, like, reciting of the prayer and ask a teacher when we have the chance?
The meditating should be Geshe jetak which kolasam la tangare and jetang chu kolasam la tangare.
So nyamle jetang kandiche tomato sosala rali. Then Rambachin Samla Tontuna, in Ziming as a Chungo Cursia, the Michi San and Roy Kachimai. Those are so visualize chair, the chair. Then the Soso Kulmata become the Jungo go at Tabzedia. So Chipomai, Kazagan chance it on Kashiba. So Yam the Mambu Shujigia, so at the Guyoa, then there is some Dantana. They couldn't be lower. They are Mambuji chip.
But children, you just see
Jujian, Betsa Chimbo, the
Karina, should you down the way on a when I should just down the good be an attack, but you can meet up a Kayana.
On the dead, so current over you not. They are so chibu so at up with Meva. Mambu Shuji so Yamda. Didn't so soon which any request you.
As an idiot, Geshe.
Judge Karina, intimacy, Jujin the Sekachema is so Karinyamli chain over you. So lonely Karina.
Yeah, so the topic of what you're requesting for the teaching in this limb, it's not the most important. It depends on you. If there is a certain topic you want to practice or learn more about, you can use this. The important is just like in the prostration. When we say that you don't prostrate by yourself, you prostrate with many sentient beings. So here you also request for the teachings with many sentient beings and for the benefit of many sentient beings.
Take up Ngata Jando Yunke. But some Yam that in this or some Kitana.
We think that we are requesting together with many other people that just like me also want to learn, also really want to learn and practice.
Tangone Tindi Kanuki, Tindi Che, Tangone Chena, that's as a visualize Chena, Karingore, Tindi Ma, the Son Juti Ma Na, Ti Mimambo Pentoya, teaching Tangone Chena, Nial, Kutsama Lam-Rim Lenchin, Rumbachin, Yandra Tindi Sosia, San Rumbati Chair. Pena as a visualize Chevra request che, was on China, Pena concentrate on the winner. So that teaching usually Pentoya, because with deep practice, teaching Tindigabe, oh, the need or the need chetana. So this some lawyer, Sicilian
and also, yeah, you visualize that you're coming to request for this teaching with many people that just like you really want to learn about the subject. And then you request, you're visualizing everything, right? You're visualizing a teacher or Buddhas, etc. And you visualize this teaching is being given, it's being given, and because of this teaching, because of requesting and because of this teaching, all these people that have this wish, they are able to practice, they are able to get, the benefit that they want to have, and because of this, they develop, in the path, and they become happier, etc. And in the tantric perspective, going to the side of tantra, then there are many details about the visualization of how to project and how to put it back, but yeah, it's a bit complex to say. I don't quite understand.
But, this is visualization. Like when I see how quickly they do it in every session, like I would maybe it's just my untrained mind that cannot visualize it quickly, but usually the 17th prayer takes you like 60 seconds, and I cannot imagine all this in 60 seconds.
It depends on your time. Yeah. Yeah, that also a commission. Penangas a Kashan Vishina. Kashan is share big. It because Chandra Tisotuzina, Mambush shit over the Mambush shit. But don't die, you get to do it. $10. So the Yandriana, but Tisotuzina, that they may not also teach an so we are like intimacy, Salmanjo Matana. Is in Chiglia, come to the Kamachiona, Kamachi, this is so.
This in Chilapna, just Chibu,
Yana Chibu, Yana chance of a Chibu, indeed.
Yeah, this also depends on your time and also depends on your habit. Just like, for example, when you're speaking in a different language other than your own. So some people, because they don't have the habit, they don't have the training, what they can say in 1 minute, sometimes you can say like one sentence, 2 sentences. Some people in 1 minute, they can say a whole speech, right? So they can say whole thing with meaning, etc., and with attention, focus. So it depends also on this, like the speed in which you can do this. And also you also don't need to, if you have like 1 minute, if you have like short time, you can choose just to stay on one limb. For example, just stay on the limb of rejoicing, just meditating on this. Also.
Visualize
and the best, is to give the proper time to make the visualizations, make all the steps, etc.
Parliament.
Listen. First, sometimes I'm learning English, and sometimes I listen to like some videos. I watch some videos of the parliament of these English countries, and they speak so fast, and they use such high words to talking about politics, etc. Very short time. Maybe they don't have a lot of time, available, so they need to speak very fast. They need to put a lot of information in a short time. Just like this, because they have the practice and they have the habit of doing this. And also with meditation, visualization, if you get the practice, if you get the habit, then in a short time you can do all the visualizations. But it's not important to go fast, that's not the important point. And it's not important also that we need to go through all the 7 limbs either. And for example, we can each day we can use one of the limbs. We can focus on one of the limbs. And 1 week has 7 days, right? So every week we can make a kora. We can change. We can start again. Because the important thing is to what we want to accumulate merit, which means we want to develop the positive side of our minds. So, and all of this, the 7 ones, all of these, they're tools in order to develop this positive motivation, positive way of thinking. That's the important thing.
And then also, other than Tinder, that you so Lam-Rim and kissing and I Indeed, the bed that you range never shows it. And that's so getting book in the near. Getting book never shows it. So that done that. Yeah. And so didn't do it a good gain. That's Sanjay the chances about so most in G2 kind by him, but midnight.
And the 6th, sorry, there are people online, so I think I should.
No, 6th.
I should share my 3G with them. Sorry. Yeah, and the 6th limb is about requesting your teachers. It can be teachers that you have met or that you haven't met. Sorry, the power went out here. Now we're back.
Yeah, that budget, then do some over it, and then also consumption numbers among the imaging more bigger this. The sunny nine.
I just said that the sixth limb is about requesting your teachers that you have met or that you haven't met to stay for a very long time. And for example, with His Holiness Dalai Lama, many times we have here the long life pujas, right? Just in a few days, we're gonna have a long life puja for His Holiness.
The
meaning here is exactly the same of this puja. Why do they need to stay here for a long time? Yeah, not only limited to people that have understanding and practice of the Dharma, but also from anyone in any personal life that is benefiting people, that is helping other people. Would be good if they could stay for longer, no? Because of this, many people would be helped, the happiness would increase in the world.
Yeah. Maybe Tsering any culture and the Dimji Yashurte and a color.
Menju
the Chigre, Jesus, Menju Ched, Dimji, Menju Chig, Consajo Carson, Cron, Sonshire, just a Yamne channel. Dimji Yashur, Din Sonyata. Me Carlab Shayate, just a Yamne Chetana, but Dimji Yashur, Din Sonyata.
Something that Holiness Dalai Lama says about the long life pujas, that the best long life puja in a way is to practice his advices, so to put into practice what he says, and also to go to the doctor.
Yeah,
to go to the hospital if necessary.
And the concept of Tsering is on the Popando and Mombush Shika. Such a concept of indeed quality. Some is on the Yonkit in Unire. Tsering dollars at the Tsering and Tondachi Sosui. The necessary getting Bonea some of the Gora. Tsering.
That's a Tsering. So anybody.
Hey, that's Tsering, one Tsering Kuris on the Tangonation, concept of Captiti and Karsungore. Tsering Yashirti, so to have to check chorus. Mendinima, Niwanshi Karshana, to Tsering Deziate, pay that Momboshin to a chagres. Yoranga Karnunda, me that Samaja. The Karnon that say Aboshira, Menayan, so Tsering Yashu Karajon traditions.
Because in Tibetan society mainly, in Tibetan society, many people, when we sometimes we have the empowerment of long life, right? The Buddha of long life, I think. We have this empowerment, and many Tibetans, they come to this because the purpose of this is for you to have a longer life, for you to have a longer life. And when there are teachings, not as many people come compared to this. And His Holiness, he said, because of this, he said that the best long life puja, the best long life empowerment in a way, is to get some treatment, some medical treatment, to rely on a doctor, because these empowerments, they depend on so many things, and they depend on the purity of your motivation, depend on my motivation. So if your motivation is not that pure, if you don't have a very good way of thinking, then there's not so much result actually with these environments.
Yeah. Tanda the not and that thing, so Tandandi Kali, so Tabazete, Tanda Chick consumption, Tibjik Pia, that Tinjo was on the Tonant Court. you know, that is also Pentong Kill. The dick of the sort that be covering there. And so Nick against in a not a day the embassy. It's so jerbe. Touching it in the corner, you give pay Pentong Kill. Me love chin by a moment. So some they could see in the neck was so simple. Ding got the pet sama. The carpentore, the kitchen, so some. And
when we request for them for the teachers, for the people that benefit to stay for a long time, to live for a very long time, we think of course of the teachers, the people that are connected to us, that are close to us, but not only the people that are close to us. We bring to mind everyone that is benefiting others, you know, wherever they might be, whoever they might be benefiting. We think of all of these people, and we ask them to stay for a very long time. And if we expand in our minds in this sense, then it also helps to have this, you know, it improves our motivation, our good motivation, and it happens this what we said of feeding our positive minds.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah. What they know that they chick thing was simple Namda Goran, Ben was a chick Benson Rosana. So Solam, Ben Jayok, and Namina. So such Mushujan, the question Nasandona, Dinichin. Simple then the Copech Taro Chena, Kojira Bushinas was a simple thing, Chito. That they not so current realities in a Chisosuga. I'm age. So yeah, Chatak did under Ginny, didn't you Chani? That day, and that day, not didn't you back on some as or simple ding. That then always yoke over that chick. And then the so at the passage to Tsering the names, Tsering the nail, never said. So in the chip of my imba, didn't you take a conscience? Simple ding. Didn't you so as you know? Oh, yeah, there. Sama and the Nepal in Nepal. Nepal and a penton get a cosoma to minutes. Yeah.
You know, talking about this pure motivation, having a pure, clean motivation. You know, when someone from our family is sick, someone from our family is very sick, someone very close to us, from the deep of our hearts, we have the feeling, I want you to be better. You know, I want you to recover, to be well. We have this very strong, from the deep of our hearts, we have this strong feeling. Why? Because we are connected to this person. We have a blood, you know, a blood and bone connection to this person. So it's easy to have this motivation, this wish for the person to recover soon. And in a similar way, when we request for the teachers to stay for a very long time, having this pure motivation means having this feeling from the deep of your heart, not only for the people close to you, but for everyone. You think that everyone that it's currently sick, you know, and we regard this mind, this mental faults, this mental shortcomings, you know, to be as sicknesses. So these people are sick, and we have this feeling that we want them to recover. We want everyone to be well, and because of this, we are requesting the teachers to stay and do this job.
Yeah, then the guys cheaper, and then the chick. Takalorta, that they gonna see on someone, also Chochini, Samatana, someone Nepal.
If you think from one side, we're all sick. You're all like
Kalagore. Tachikelana Chochini. Tachik Salo Tan Chokachan. Also with Nam Jineri Suinalia. Samlo Nali wants to sound a Yawish or the Duichoni. Marshal Karchungudu. The Marshal Duichol Chungu at the same Gani. The church in Nepal Rorelan and Jor. They know things are low except jail.
If we think, you know, from a certain perspective, if we analyze, you know, our thoughts, our way of thinking, and we see the negative and the positive side, you know, what's stronger. And if the negative is stronger, from one side, we can say that we are all sick, but it's not easy to accept. For some people, it might not be easy to accept or think like this.
That didn't do socially, and it didn't do Singam Gonia. samla yagi chot pe nyunyu shamba chot maayona ta ti jemo jabe se koro ta ti ko ti cheala nga se mi shamba jele tingo kachi ti shiu.
And if we the positive ways of thinking and the negative ways of thinking, if the negative is stronger than the positive ways of thinking, then we need to change this. You know, that's our job. We need to change this. And to change this, we need to rely on someone else. We depend on others.
No dendo on ta chik sosalaya chik lamton yang bonange.
So the people that are giving you good advices
So again,
could be your teacher.
That's also good draw social team on your name, the Bolivia gonna Casema Boyer.
And
So was a team on second game, Tinto, by Boyer.
And similar to your teacher, similar to the teachers that you have met in this world, you know, how many like them exist? You know, many people like this exist.
But there's a time my during was in it on a social pinto on my Kozo Korotsu, ma name.
And if all of them they are able to stay for a longer time, then just like you're being helped, also many other people they're also going to have this benefit. So you carry this motivation.
Well, then you simba dingni taki konziano so reyoching nation coaching was in
So from the deep of your heart, it's just like the example we gave regarding the family, you know, your family member and how you want this person to recover fast.
Tangasochi Mamboshi Susan Jeochi now Tadichi Tadana Susu Jeo Namiti keeping the chit no, didn't want some control.
No, me keeping
Tapenadilla to Tadagi, Tambek game do Takas, didn't you love chink mina? Chik Zamolina, Cassis the net on a team, me Mambush usual paint over. Didn't you convert Kitana? The convert de pay, so keeping Kachisama to my Mambush. Didn't some unity cover it was so sad.
And at this moment that you're thinking like this, when you're thinking of all these teachers benefiting people, other people, at this moment, you're not thinking about your gain. You're not thinking about your own benefit. And at this moment that you're able to give rise to this motivation of these other people being benefit, this moment you're accumulating merit. This moment you have this accumulation of merits happening.
Tanda color, Tanda yellow the body, they send some to my children. This is some
Usually when we talk about the 7 limbs prayer, we talk about 4 or 3 categories. There is one category that talks about accumulation of merits.
And this anybody, Tanda Sapa, and anybody, Jamba Landi,
The second category is about purification.
The
third one is about
increase.
The third one is about increase. Yeah. The third category is increase.
They only that. They say ngai gura ngai nge. Marga dinire. Pena. Yellow deora ding nange. Digba shapa seshko. And then tanta shapi yalache.
So in the second category of purification, what's inside here is the third limb, which is about confession.
Then Belvi allows it. Belva said, Tanamazu Gisirale Niores, Tessini.
Gisirang.
Jamba Gavale Gisirancia, Susu, Jawaya Bola Gisirancia Nio.
So about the third category of increase. So we talked in last class about the act of rejoicing. So rejoicing, there are 2 different types of rejoicing. There is rejoicing for the virtuous actions of someone else, and there is rejoicing for your own virtuous actions.
The deal so gets us so Chawaya Botuela Gisirancia, the Carson, the baby is
If you rejoice for your own virtuous actions, your own virtue, this is included in the category of increase.
Because
if you have done a virtuous action, if you have done something good in the past, and then you rejoice about this, that on top of the virtue, the merit, the virtue that you have accumulated, this is increased.
Then gang le dan the chance sawan choba ane nana ole kare tati jisirang chekati che tena jenga soata ba kulma cheba to samade sudomna ane sosabi laxet.
And then on the first category of accumulating merits, there is prostration, offering, the rejoicing for other virtuous actions, requesting for teachings, and requesting for the teachers to stay for a long time.
What is it? This
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This five they are they belong to the category of accumulating merits.
This is what Joanna. Sosabi along this in chick. Nani Jamba Belba Sumche. That Tamade. Tamade.
Yeah, she.
No Tamade, Garzana Tamade Karchigre. And the Moyalant. Moyala Karango Gores on the Gangling and Sugi in La Tugdosero. Gets a Sashan use more jetries. Moyala.
Okay, so about the last limb now, the limb of dedication, which belongs to the third of the increasing, right? Increasing. Pewa.
Mare any more. Gets a more.
Sorry,
Gets a
forget
gets a
what I said.
gets a more. Car gets a Yoran Yellow Tambo Tugura. Tuki Kamlusu gets a Karsa Yobate, more jetries.
So the last one, the seventh limb, the last limb is dedication, and dedication means all the we say roots of virtue, all the virtue that you have accumulated with the other 6 limbs. Now you are dedicating all of this.
So they come like a long carries on this. So the give each our courage of Yobati, and it's you mumbles in paying it.
So here your motivation is whatever good action, virtuous action that I have performed, may this benefit others. Other sentient beings, yes.
That the carpent torres, that number shunk touch of garnish, don't you know? The so gets at the appoint near to ya.
So what is the benefit of this? Well, if we explain from the perspective of Buddhist philosophy, it said that through the action of dedication, then this helps you to keep these roots of virtues. It helps you to keep these virtues so they are not easily lost or wasted. It's like if you got a very precious thing, and you ask someone to please keep this, please keep this for this purpose. So if you give to someone else to keep, then you're not gonna lose it.
Okay. Then my aunt Shambaji chet more shy, no? This so chet maima. Shamba mamboji chet.
And if you give this for someone else to keep, if you dedicate your actions in this way, then you're not, it's not for your use, it's not for your benefit. You're giving this so that this is public use now. It's for everyone to be benefited.
So it's
For example, if you have something very precious and you give to an institute, you give like this sort of to the public use. You give this for public use. Then the moment you do this, you don't have anymore if you want to use this for yourself, or if you want to break it, you don't have this right anymore. You don't have this power to do this anymore because it's not yours. And in a similar way, when you dedicate your virtue, you are giving this for like public use. And if you get angry, or if you do things like this anger doesn't have the power to break this virtue.
Yeah, When I jump with China, me cousin Mambo with Dabo Yogi China, Yakuk, Shung with China, then there was also a touch Kumaja and Roda, Takatipeton, Hashing in Yibashim series. And me chick chala chikumaja, the chala chibana, and the captain, they shungina, and the Indian government, thing a kumaja, the down, and me chicadima, which could chala pattern chipana, Majandana, Pasa and patient.
For example, if a certain object belongs to the government of India, for example, then there is, or if an object belongs just to an individual person, if you steal from the government of India, there's a greater punishment, in a way. Like it's a worse action. If you steal from the government, it's different.
Yeah, Garchen is only the me mambo shuji Korangi, Tatu songs, Korangi. Me mambo shuji chala chadi, Chorochik.
Why? Because this doesn't belong just to one person. This belongs to many people. Many people are keeping this.
Yeah, then there was chick Kamajamna, Nipa Petsaya.
Like this, so if you steal this, then it's a greater fault.
Michikity not this Kunyoakashi, I did draw Kumaja pay this.
Do we have any questions? We have it's 5 to 6 now. Anyone has any question? No questions.
Okay.
I'm kidding, please.
If no one has questions, I always have A, who's the Buddha of long life?
Okay.
B, when we dedicate in the end, let's say our motivation was not 100% pure before. Do we give the not pure merit away, or do we only give away the merit that was 100%? You know what I mean?
I understand, yes.
Okay.
Ni Dampo, ni Tsering, ni Sanskrit, ni Nipa, penanganan se yang dupuring langanan se gulong tama mena, aningan so ngoa chena, aningan gulong tama me panganan se yang kadis senchen la tegidave, yana gulong tama, getsa tama, getsa tama jikbu, nganan se ngoa chegire.
Ngoa said that Ngoa the Molamni, Chavakari, Rese, Kachigri. Namni was a Molam Japsesio. Pray. Teda Moania, Chavakari, Rese.
Okay, so the first one, the Buddha of long life, I believe it's Amitayus, the name, Amitayus. And the second one, so we can ask, what is the difference between prayer and dedication?
On the Kachashi Kavalian. And the Molam Jabzade, Jolly Molly into Mr. Getsachuron and Yoko Mare.
So when we
Choromon, Balatinchonas and Molam Jan and Dicare, Karina's Konosama Gondi, Chinatcore.
So when we do prayers, so we don't necessarily need to have done any virtuous action, any good action before this. We can just think with a pure motivation for something good to happen in the future, etc.
In the Moazia, the Choromolia. And the Chichala Jambal choose and the Chorachala Yokora.
But when we dedicate, for example, if you want to ask someone to keep like an object, for us, we need to have an object. We need to have something to give.
Yeah. Then a Chorangi Chala Sachi Yache, Tijambajali Chugana Choran Chala Menachu Jambal Karchu, Montero. Tadendo, Takigonasiana, Chorokano Sama Meni, Masola Sama Meni, and Masoda Chick. In the Yamlanda, Gomia Pojo, your Tengro. Chitanda Yalandamba, that's some Masamlatangius. Tomuni, upon Mena, Krosamana, the Getsamare. Getsamina Shambal and was in way.
So, but if we don't have a pure motivation, we can practice, we can sit down, we can meditate, we can go through the 6 limbs, each one of them, without a pure motivation. But if we don't have a good motivation, there are no roots of virtue. So there's no dedication at the end. We can say the words, but there's no dedication happening.
Yeah, Chichanos, Moache, Kamlakrumbe, Samayache. 이나야 그런 상마시어 뭐 그런 상마한테 뭐야 가는 거 그래 지지 그래 지지 그냥 앞에 특문이 콜이야 그런 게 채팅에 때 잘라대 다지 소소 그냥 고르모를 지금 봐서 근데 고르모도 빠싸네 배 고르모도 빼미 다지 배 좁으면 뭐지 채팅이 고르모도 사가 요하세지 그런 배 상마야 고르모도 배 배는 좁으면 뭐지 채팅 고르모도니 아니 뱅가나 샤가 일하나 저런 그런 배 상마 심바팅이 저때 된 거다 저 고모 맨날 좀 뱅가나 가르쳐요 고모 걸어 고모 거나
Just for example, yeah.
저번에 제때 좀 뱅가나 생각다 지금 강안에 고모 샤야라 저는 고모지 걸어
Just for example, if you're like accumulating money in order to help poor people, so with this motivation, pure motivation, you're putting money on the bank to accumulate to help like the poor. If you don't have money, then it doesn't make sense. So you need to have money.
양국강이야 고모세대 주야 저번에 제는 고모 매운데 주야면 도왔어 근데 와서 그런 거는 계산식면은
So if we don't have fruits of virtue, then there's also nothing that we're giving, dedicating towards ancient beings. Ninguém só colong sama pena Geshe get sama mena.
야 상만을 안 주거든요.
Giju sama yana ni get sayong gire.
야 이말 강요 봐대. 서서 배나.
Let's
뭐 찍면.
니마 get 니마 요래 나 연타 등 get sayore.
요래. 대단해. 그래서 인수무지 자세 자요 같이 말다. 서서 강요 봐대.
I just asked him now if what if we don't have 100% pure motivation, but we have 80% pure motivation? And yeah, we don't have, and he said, yeah, we don't have like the same amount of fruits of virtue. We have less, we have less, we still have something to dedicate, we still have virtue. If we have at least in some ways a pure motivation.
Yeah.
So in regards to, I don't know the name but in humans or in animals, the euthanasia, or when you kill a pet, a dog or something, because they tell you that they are suffering so much and there's nothing else to do to help that pet or person. I don't know. So the owner of the pet says, I'm doing the best I can. Their motivation is like good for their pet, but at the same time they are interfering with its life. Or so I don't know there how to see that. How is it?
Namjunki and Shimingan so compare never in a sapeta with Jigana in a human ba and so concrete segre che sanno che da pemo per ani daya young missy very dove ni so namjun shimi you can double gap him con kulong sama na tene pen la tene con segre so chopper 차기래 니간다스 하고 그래도 네트워드 했던 니간다스 하고 그래 그렇지 그래
야야야 다디 걸쳐왔대 아마 뭐래 녀세 야이스
마마 볼래 되냐
야야 디고 그쳐왔대 뭐 버티고야 그치 맞아.
This is a question, yeah, good question, a question that we have discussed many times in the past. That's a very common question.
당원서 살로 당에 치간을 해서 단다 가스코 당 남비 들음 거는 게임 없이 되는 거. 기왕 아마 참아.
Listen.
단다 배치 딱 소소의 진열 소점이네 진로 있는 시민도 있는 것. 고시민 나가야 맞아서. 그배 단다 나사시 단 거. 근데 배만 뭐. 그 자야는 믿으세. 근데 곧다 감도 잡 세잖아. 그 등한테 용하세. 그 제시도. dik savla tangtang chikde tanda ranga ku dinga dika chikshi. Nini kasi koshi suna, ku kiwa chima kailing kashi na, ku tili yaaji chigre, tili duga chigre, tenga zayang, she thumar, thumarwa, tenga savla chitangu.
Yeah, so the way Buddhism sees this, if you look from the perspective of Buddhism, so we believe in past and future lifetimes. So when we think, for example, there is a pet that is going through a lot of suffering, and there's no hope for this suffering to be over in this life. So the sickness is not going to be recovered, and we think that we're going to stop this life so that this suffering is going to be over. In Buddhism, we think also not only of the suffering of this life, but also where is this pet going in the next life, right? Is it going somewhere better or somewhere worse? This we have no way to know. From our perspective now, we have no way of knowing this. So the Buddhist way of thinking. So this is the Buddhist way of thinking, right? Based on the law of karma and rebirth. So it said that the sufferings that we experience in this life, these sufferings, they are the fruition of negative karmas of the past, right? So through this suffering experienced now with the sickness, these negative karmas, they are in a way being purified. So this suffering, if it's experienced in this life, it won't need to be experienced in a future life, because you're having the result already of the negative karma in this life.
Yeah. Dinga tangling zoba se ta ti tonglen se chu tongle shive kap so le tan kangan ru kar chona ta nyamlen ba so kar chore ti gitan shamba dinga sam so le nyawar shu se tan da so pe nasa ti chi dinga sam ti ti tu sama tar shu monam ja tinde is shive kap le ko kangan nyore ru Only chana lipong kani pe na pa chobo chana sim kam kani pe so kokam sambu shiwish.
So for example, we had a class before on mind training, the 7 points mind training, and it talks about the giving and taking. I don't know if you have heard of this.
Donglen?
Yeah, Donglen, yes, exactly. And when we are when the practitioner is feeling very sick, so he has this thought of bringing all the suffering of all sentient beings, may it ripen right now in his experience. May he experience these sufferings. And because this has a very strong connection with what he said before, because even though he's experienced this pain, this sickness in the body, in his mind, there is no suffering. The way that the practitioner perceives this, the mind training practitioner, this is a very good opportunity. This is something very good, because by experiencing this sickness, I'm avoiding future suffering. That's the way, from the perspective of the law of karma, that's the perspective that this mind training practitioner has. This is a great opportunity, actually.
The chicken Samson Tangashi, Yokush, the Shison, the Yasari, Tin Sigro. In a Tangoni, Michiki, that's so chick, Taki, genius social managing. Cozanage Susunis, Sejana, Society Damgaches, Societies, Dena Gasseris. That young Tivari Matsule.
And also, if you look from our experience, if we have this very, very serious sickness, it might occur to us I'd rather die than to keep experiencing the suffering. But if someone comes, to do it, also it might cross our minds. Maybe we want to stay a bit longer. So it's complex, a complex situation in this moment.
Yeah, the Ngarando Casingal, Ngalde Damgache Sholana, and I say some ice.
If I am giving this choice in my personal case, I create mission
but under the genius of Chamdo nuts, Kindo, Shimido, Shun nuts at Antiwana. And that you is singing 아니 저기 샤기라는 게 샤그레마다 세우마레스 가르치세나 가르치네세 김셀레스그라 코랑 게 당연히 나중에 다른 건 싸우러 당당했던 거래 코랑 게 리왕게 코랑 게 니 강에 뇽고야 돼 코랑 게 사사 저 코랑 게 아니 뇽고 그래마도 저 단다디 강에 뇽을 단다 직 조세야 잠시게 아니 콜 강에 뇽을 들어야지 되게 개념이 더 말했어 이 강에 단다 태방 나랑 니바 직사 그랬어 이봐 가르치는 거 소치스
So from if I am given the choice of like euthanasia or like to stop the sickness of the pet by euthanasia, I would think in the Buddhist direction, right? This is what the direction I would think, and I wouldn't do the euthanasia. Why? Because the way I see like sickness and suffering happen is because of karma accumulated, negative karma accumulated. So this suffering needs to be experienced by this animal or this being. And if I perform the euthanasia, I don't believe that this suffering won't need to be experienced. It's still going to be experienced in some way.
이나야 당에서 때 그런 게 레레자 그런 게 레레세 이기상은 되게 말해 그런 레레 그런 용거를 말. 또 공원에 같이 좀 맞추어 드리야. 세와다 그 대체 제거해도 맞 제가 맞추는 거 베나미지 나이나 단다 춘어지 배시고 나대와 다 같이서 맞추고 그 나서 용어를 돼야지 다시 가르쳐야 돼 맞추 제거 그 세세데 얘도 배드가 티컵을요 그 dinga 용어를 써야 돼 나게 강시사 소소그 딩 소체비니 빠식사 그래 But
of course, I'm not saying that, it's his karma, it's her karma, so, live it, needs to be experienced as suffering. I'm not saying this. Like we need to take care of the sentient being. We need to like with love and try to heal the discomfort or the pain as much as we can. This we have to do, but the euthanasia or killing, I don't think this is a way to decrease the suffering, and also there is the fault of the negative karma of killing happening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe time.
Do
Maybe. Yeah, 벌써 이쪽 공개나 presentation.
If there's anyone that wants to leave, that has to leave, that has to have dinner, that has to go, please. No, it's you can go. You can go, yes.
So my question is related to her question, to take it away from like a pet. For example, now there's a situation in Israel. Would we tell people to leave the country because we know what will happen next there, or should we like encourage them to stay there to go through their karma and their suffering?
Israel, da maioria, ani consoi le magdi nyongre itore. Ninguém pode na yomare. Ani ngana sala chakari tegre consolar kiran ngilon pala tegre kensna dunya di kiran togre yana non bashin pala togre.
Kading also yang 직체나 뭔지 렌트 진세 너무 그렇게 되시. 상말 내리세 그시 말해.
그래 양길.
뭔지 레세 온데 다 리. 감마던데 직다 그래. 최지진 첼 is temporary something effect. Something happen.
Yes.
어디라 그래. 근데 단다 막 레세 막 있다. 그래서 상말 뭔지 레레세나 이 기능이 더 사마레스.
So there is a difference in karma of, I'm sorry, I don't know how to translate exactly these words in English, but it's something like manifest karma, manifest karma, and
temporary cause or something.
Like a temporary condition that it's not related, that's not, the cause is not your individual karma.
Yeah.
You search in the dictionary here, so it's more correct, I think. But basically the thing there is this different experiences. It doesn't mean that everything is coming from this manifest karma. So for example, with a war,
certain condition, something, you know.
Yeah, it's saying here temporary condition. So there is this manifest karma and temporary condition. So a war, for example, you cannot say that it's basically the meaning is you cannot say that everyone that are involved in this, it's like, you know, you have to experience this suffering because this is your karma, that you need to purify your negative karma like this.
Yeah,
You cannot say that.
Yeah. Some Geshe Karachune and then the Dido, temporary condition. Dido in that and the Lord the Chonsha actually. Think one delay than the Tayo. This is thing also, and the Koleanashi, and such a champagne and so any Japchuno do, and it's so kept the war. To the late and the Chagmar.
Yes, for example, if it's like this temporary conditions, then they might have like the opportunity to go to another country. They might have the opportunity to avoid suffering.
Then I was a main teacher there. Humble city, and it take it ending as a chair, main to some material, as an Nepajin and Mensaya. So some lay and I was a main sense of Pento Yomarta.
And for example, sicknesses, if they're caused by this negative karmas in the life, this what he's called here the manifest karma, maybe that's not the best translation. It doesn't matter how much you treat it, doesn't matter how much medicine you take. It's not if you take karma like to die from this sickness,
You know, you also main son in that some watch down to Ashura. The Nasa song as Lee on the Chungsek Maris.
So for example, all the sickness that we can take medicine and then we get better from them, we cannot say that all of them they're coming from our karma. They're coming as a result of our karma. They're part of these temporary conditions.
They only under the amount, so.
And also like wars, etc.
Yeah.
It's also really this. There are certain groups of people or nations that are constantly persecuted. So, is this related somehow? Like your karma, if you are born in this particular nation or tribe that is constantly persecuted, with this.
If there's any connection to karma,
persist and be part and resist as part of this persecuted tribe, or try to escape?
If you should stay and resist and fight.
Yeah, because that is your karma that you are born with, or.
And you can no more little to a European. And England so did no like Giana. The English Lena, you're going to so deep, Caritan and Chegore, and I'm going to so sudo Jogore, and I just did Jewa Shak.
I get you what is it? Choya Sama de Ladies at Yashatamala, the Niga Yores, Kiniga. The Kinibadina, temporary Kinjina, also Juyor, in some sick, the Tapichair. Penang as a Lojon Regina, Lojon Chiati. Lojon Chiati was a lay one gain and into a Chimerta. So lay Carina, lay one. Mazuya, Mamboshi, Yonder Chin, so Tapsichin, Yajinjoya. Yonada getting no Shingichi. Netandini, so Triagachits, Tapshin Ram at the time. This was in Jundonda. The retail ladies a Kachisa.
Yeah, so it depends. It's just like he said, there's these two types of ways that things happen. So there are things that happens under the power of karma. Because of karma, there are things that are temporary conditions. So this depends. This is hard to know. So we can, try to solve situations. We can try to change situations. Just like, for example, when we study, when we practice. Our practice and study, it's not developing by the power of karma. It's developing by the power of your effort, etc. These things, not happening by the power of karma.
When I was a lay, the coral lay, Yajito and Yajito, and Roman, lay one garella, then
Yeah, we cannot say that it's improving the practice and studies by the power of karma, because of karma.
Yeah, 맞아요. 최지 진세들 저 다고. 최지 진공게 강가 뭐지 세토. 이번 다시 제거를 마도 달레레세 때는 영어서 아니요. 때문에 말.
Yeah, we cannot say, oh, it's karma, so there's nothing to be done. You know, because of this, many things being temporary conditions, we should try to constantly change, to improve.
Good to it. 진소되는 줄 아시죠?
Yeah, just a little 이래 건수가 주인할 건수.
자, 나중에 자세히 알랍도야 가버려. 직전에 요새 직전에 응? 저기 가면서 하는 거지. 배나 미치 같이 수수에 배나 마사지를 사온다. 마사지를 사온다. 미사지가 나네. 이 전화 연기 미치가 마사지 배야 보지 소샤이도. 난 가실래 진짜 전화로 매 가래나 지금 영화에 전화면은 마사지 가디네 줘버릴 수 있대. 그때 소소요 전화 연기 된지 위치하니 강가 뭐지 센터가 소소 신달의 정들 된다고 한데 마음으로 약급서 파신되어 당당 제가 정당 이 상황 당당 강된게서 상황 당당 대 약보면은 그가디는 그 파신트 파셔야 마트릭 정도야 롱바디 가마티
Yeah, about you said about like certain societies, certain people, they're constantly persecuted. And I cannot say like 100% that this is like because of karma or it's connected to karma. Also, for example, if you look at like at families,
그러면
Tsering gyukiran peshiganan.
근데 무상도 오는 것이 아니 미직 미 전당시 모르지는 무상도 배지 안주를 가르는 야본의 찬트.
Yes.
무상까지 인제 매운데 그때는 저번 로시 때야. 그래서 야시 야타바 가는 레레스는 제 말이 미소소.
For example, it's very complex. For example, like two families, you know, some families, one family, like sometimes has someone that like has some capacities, you know, some potential, and this person, let's say these two families are very poor, and this family that has this person that has a strong potential, because of the effort, the work of this person, the family experiences like financial happiness, like a good economical situation. And other family doesn't happen this. We cannot say like 100% that this is because of the karma, that this is because of karma.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, it's a bit complex, maybe.
Sorry.
Maybe just like a Tibetan people, like in 1950, the Communist Party occupied Tibet. So this is
Yes. Okay, we can stop.
They escape from Tibet. They try to do something, and they also spread the Buddhism.
Okay, thank you, Barry.
Okay, very good.
See you.
Thank you.
Yeah, see you, iPad.
Yeah, benefiting from
So-
having that. That's
Yeah.
really-
Okay,
Right now-
that's